It was a hot summer evening in 2019, and the streets downtown were busy with people walking home, kids playing, and the city lights flickering over the pavement. Officer Daniels was on patrol, known for being strict, confident, and a little prideful, the kind of man who believed his instincts were always right and that the law was on his side no matter what. That night, as he drove slowly down the avenue, his eyes caught a young man sitting on a bench. Marcus, a black man in his early 20s, was quietly listening to music, nodding his head, completely calm, keeping to himself. Daniels didn't know him, but something in his gut immediately made him suspicious. Without warning, he stepped out of his patrol car and approached Marcus aggressively, demanding he show ID. Marcus looked up, startled and confused, fumbling slightly as he reached into his pocket. Daniels, already tense and convinced Marcus was lying, raised his hand and slapped him sharply across the face, yelling and accusing him of being uncooperative and suspicious. Passers-by gasped. A few tried to step closer, but Daniels shouted for them to stay back. Marcus stood there, shocked, his cheeks stinging, hurt, but he didn't respond with anger. He looked at Daniels calmly, holding his dignity even as adrenaline and fear surged through him. "Sir, I've done nothing wrong," Marcus said quietly but firmly. "I'm just sitting here, listening to music. I don't deserve this." Those words hit Daniels harder than he expected. He froze for a moment, staring at Marcus, and suddenly the air between them changed. He saw something he hadn't noticed before. Marcus's calmness, his patience, the quiet strength of someone completely in the right. All of a sudden, Daniels realized that his assumptions, his prejudice, had taken over. He had acted out of bias, not fact. He had abused his power, and now he could see it clearly. The weight of that realization pressed down on him as he looked around. Witnesses were watching, their eyes wide, some were filming with their phones. Daniels' heart raced. He had a choice. He could continue with his pride, stick to the lies he could tell himself, or he could admit his mistake and take responsibility. He chose the latter. By the time they reached the patrol car, Daniels had already decided. He released Marcus's hands, stepped back, and spoke in a calmer voice. I'm sorry," he said, almost whispering. "You didn't deserve that. I acted wrong, and I need to report this." Marcus, still wary but relieved, nodded. The tension in the air began to ease slightly. People watching saw something rare that day. A man admitting his mistake publicly, owning up to his wrong, facing the consequences, and respecting someone he had wronged. It was a quiet but powerful moment, the kind that stayed with everyone who witnessed it. Later, in the precinct, Daniels wrote a full report. He detailed exactly what had happened, his assumptions, his actions, and the lessons he had learned. He included every detail, every emotion, and every step he had taken to correct the mistake. Marcus walked away that night with no further incident. But the encounter would follow him too, a story of fear, strength, and dignity under pressure. News of the event spread quietly, not as a scandal, but as a lesson. It reminded people that even those trained to enforce the law are human, capable of mistakes, capable of prejudice, but also capable of realizing it and making things right. The incident taught a simple but powerful truth. Assumptions and prejudice can lead even the most confident, powerful people to do harm. But courage isn't always about fighting back or shouting the loudest. Courage is often about standing calmly in the face of injustice, being honest, and showing integrity. Marcus's calm, firm words and dignified presence turn a moment of fear into a lesson for everyone, including the man who had misjudged him. And Officer Daniels? He never forgot it. Every time he walked the streets afterward, he remembered that evening, that slap, that face, and those words, "I've done nothing wrong. I don't deserve this." And he knew that power is nothing without fairness, respect, and humility. That night, the streets went back to normal, the city lights flickered, and people walked home unaware of the lesson that had been quietly taught. But for those who saw it, for those who understood it, something had changed. Marcus had reminded the world, and Officer Daniels, that the truth matters, dignity matters, and that even in moments of fear and anger, it is possible to do the right thing. And that is how one small, calm act, a few words spoken with courage, can change the perspective of someone who believed they were untouchable and leave a lesson that lingers long after the streetlights dim.